Hi, guys, and welcome to the first episode of the MonsterZ Podcast. So, first of all, I'd like to thank SilenaCat for making the MonsterZ Podcast logo. And, well, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, but since I'm not in the know that much on what's going on in MonsterZ. It's going to be a lot of theories and ideas and whatnot, like how PFE was going to be, but without all the knowledge. So, in upcoming episodes, I want to take anywhere from 3 to 5 of my favorite drawings or ideas that were said either on the MonsterZ group wall or on the Discord, and I want to talk about them because it's not that easy to get exposure, and some ideas are really good, but no one ever finds them, so they can't be anything done with them. So I want to hope those ideas become their own and possibly become a monster later on. So I'll do those in the next episode, and I'll give credit to the idealist and the drawer and whatnot. And if they don't want me to use their monster in a podcast to talk about, then I simply won't. I'll make sure that I have their permission to talk about it before I do. Anyways, let's move on to what I can talk about in a way. So, some of these ideas I thought of the day after PFE got shut down and Poe talked about having MonsterZ, and I thought of since to fully prevent copyrights, we could reword some things. For instance, instead of it being trainers, we would have hunters. And instead of it being evolutions, it would be mutations. And the whole thing, it's not really a Pokédex. It's more like genetic or DNA that we're focusing on. So, how you would catch the monsters would be you use DNA extraction, and then it's how it would work is a successful capture would be you were able to successfully clone the DNA. It pretty much works the same way as regular Pokeballs, but you're pretty much using a DNA splicer to. Oh wait, hold on. We can't use that. Never mind, because that's what they use for Kyurem. No, I don't get to copyright that. All right, we'll use DNA splicer too. But yeah, it works like that, and you don't really. You can have harmless monsters and you can have ferocious monsters, and they're gonna evolve. I mean, not evolve. Dang, I already done goofed. They're gonna mutate, is what's gonna happen, and when they mutate, it either makes them change. It could either help them get stronger or help them survive better in their environment. Because it's not all monsters have to be competitive. Certain monsters can have abilities like being able to Since I'm assuming we're gonna have the same where you can control the Pokemon. You can control the monster like in Pokemon, so you can be able to camouflage, being able to not be seen. Like your name tag wouldn't appear because you're camouflaged or something cool like that. And instead of it being types, it would be categories. And there's 2 ways you could take this. Categories could mean what you classify them as. For instance, category A, and A's innocent, it's like a kitten, it's harmless, it's not going to do much, all the way down to category, let's just go to F, and F's like, this thing's gonna murder your entire family because it wants to, with the blink of the in the blink of an eye. Or you could take categories in which they are just types, but some of the categories that I thought of were, and I'm not they're it's pretty much like rewording certain things. Like I'll explain it as we go through. So the first category I have is nuclear, and it's not really based off any other category. It's like, I guess it's based off the move explosion and self-destruct, but like at the same time, it's it's pretty much based off of that. But you could do like, I don't know, like an atomic bomb based monster that changed because a monster. Well, it would be like an innocent monster that got genetically mutated from an atomic bomb. So now it's, let's just say, a C category monster that is a nuclear category. Also, this one is inspired by Pokemon. This type is inspired by Pokemon. That's the sound category, because there were plans of having a sound type. If you look into XCloud's game data, I think in one of the Gen 3 games, if you look into that, like if you data mine to that, you can see that there were works for soundproof moves, and it was working on becoming a type, and the ability's still there, but XCloud can't access it. So this would be like sound based like monsters, and you could I guess have I don't know, like a boombox just for the heck of it. It's not really that big. Next one is kind of cliche, and it's a shadow category. This one, when I was thinking of it, I guess represents the dark types, but it's like your cliche evil monsters and whatnot. Now, I'm not saying every evil monster has to be a shadow type, but like those that are known to hide in the darkness could work like that. The next type I have those, and is their this is where I said it's cliche. Their counterbalance type is the light cat. Oh, I keep saying type. Their counterbalance category is the light category, and I'm not saying you have to have a light bulb. No, you could use something like, since it's not really focusing on electricity. It's like light fractions, and not fractions, refractions, in which like it's able to move. So this would be a speed, pretty much like a fast category, because for instance, one of their I guess the move that I was thinking of would be a bounce off, in which if your opponent is facing you, you can use that hold on, let me rephrase this. If your opponent has you in their sights, but they're not necessarily looking at you, you can bounce off them and pretty much teleport or go extremely fast to where they're looking at, using the light the light that's in their eyes to go to where they're looking at. The next type, the next category is also inspired by Pokemon, and they previously used this, but never took advantage of it. This is the bird category. This one's pretty much only for winged beasts, not necessarily being able to fly, but they have to be able to have wings. So like you could have a griffin or a phoenix styled beast, or like a combo could be a night terror owl that would be both the bird and shadow. Something like that. Um Next one I have is Pyro, and that's pretty obviously just rewording fire. And the sort of monster that I was thinking about for that would be like either a flaming fire, well, not flaming, well, of course it's flame, well, like a fireball, or a giant volcano based monster. Something around there would be pretty cool. Um, then after that, I have Aqua, which is pretty much the rewording of water, and that would pretty much, you know, be your aquatic or water-based monsters. Then I have Terra, and I especially put Terra because it's not your counterbalance for grass. It's your rewording of ground, and I'm not going to include. Well, no, yeah. So it's your counterbalance for not counterbalance. It's your rewording for ground, and one of the things that immediately popped in my mind when I thought of this was the Adamantoise from Final Fantasy 15. For those of you that don't know what the Adamantoise is, it's a giant it's a giant. I think it's a tortoise. Are tortoises on land, and turtles are in the water? It's whatever the one that's on land, but it's just a giant version of it, and it moves really slow. So it's pretty much an oversized Torterra. It's all it really is, but it takes 3 in real life hours to beat it. And the worst part is, if you get knocked out of the combat zone, its health immediately refills itself. So all that time you spend is lost. It's really a pain. And then the next category is neutral, which is rewording for normal. And I really just want to see is it Switzerland or is it Sweden? Whatever the neutral country is, I just want to see one of that country themed monster just as a gag. It legit doesn't have to do anything. It could have like no stats. It could pretty much be 1 health or something like that, and that's it, because it's neutral and it doesn't fight. The next one I have is Hazard, and that's your rewording of poison. And this is where it's somewhat lenient off nuclear, like they're somewhat together, but hazardous could be like pretty much poisons or toxins, or like, what's that, pollution? Couldn't think of the word, my bad. With things like that, and you could have a smog, like not I'm not saying coughing, but like you can have like an air pollution, like a monster that's purely made of gas, just roaming around. It and being able to harm people with its bodies. It's what it'd be able to do. The next category I have is Watts, and that's the rewording of electric. And the first one I thought of was like a plug, like a little plug. It's a robo. It was like there was this Nintendo game like a while ago that had like a robo guy, and he had to like take care of the environment, but you had to keep him charged. So or else you would like die pretty much. So you take care of your environment for a little bit. You'd run, you plug them in, charge up, and then you go back to take care of the environment. If I remember what it was or something, I'll post a picture or something. I probably won't remember. But like those, this is why this isn't like light. So lightning if you had like a lightning based monster, then it would be both the Watts category and the light category. And Watts aren't going to be necessarily fast, but depend. So if you're going to have a physical attack stat, a magical attack stat, and then their respective defense and magical defense ones, then a Watts based monster would be mainly in the would be mainly in the magical attack, and its speed wouldn't really be all too good. Like, the lightning one would be an exception, but like it's not based off its speed, it's based off its charge that it can get off. The next monster type, and I said type again, why? The next monster category is metal, and it's pretty much your steel rewording. And this one you could work certain things with it depending on how you want to take it. Metal could be like the elements metal, or metal could be your generic metals where it's like, oh, I'm a hammer, bang bang. Or it could be, you could, since technically, no, that's not metal. Since you have, in the periodic table of elements, you have your metals, your non-metals, and your metalloids. You could have monsters based off certain elements in this category and do a combination of them. I'm trying to think of an element. You could have carbon. Since, no, you can't. Hold on. I don't know my elements off the top of my head. Never mind. We're not going to worry about that right now. But yeah, you can have a metal category. The next category that I had was spectral. And spectral is more like your psychic, but at the same time, it's also your ghost. And which it focuses on magical abilities, and it's not about harming your opponent. It's more about confusing them with illusions. And so instead of me going to attack you, I create like 50 plus images of myself, and they all are perfect clones of me, and they all do exactly what I do. And instead of it disappearing right away, it's there. You have to attack it, and then that one would disappear. Then you attack the next one would disappear, and whatnot. But if you attack the actual person, all the other copies disappear immediately. And instead of them, like how Double Team was, instead of them all just disappearing all at the same time at once after a certain time, they'd all gradually start disappearing because the effect would be wearing off. The next type I had, why do I keep saying type? The next category I had was Eden, and that's your rock type. Oh, god damn it. That's your rock category, and in which it'd be a somewhat combination of metals if you use metals as a whole thing and not as your generic stuff. And Eden would focus on structures in a way in which Eden monster that I thought of a while ago and I thought was trash, but it's the only one I can think of right now, was a wall in a way, but it's how it would work is it's able to reshape itself. And I know this isn't being added because it's trash, and no, don't add it. But it's able to reshape itself, and there'd be certain forms or phases of it in which it'd have its basic arms and legs and whatnot, and it's just like a giant wall. And like you had your normal phase would be the giant wall, and then you'd have a camouflage phase in which the name tag would disappear. You wouldn't be able to move at all, and the only way someone would know it was you is if they attacked you. But you can't attack back or anything like that. You would have really good defense because you're a wall. You're there to like protect the inside stuff from the outside, so you're going to be able to protect stuff. But you'd have to change into either the defense form, which is you lose me. The defense form prevents you from attacking, but it like gives you bigger legs, and your speed is drastically increased. You have no attack, no magical attack, and you have high defense and magical defense, and you're able to either increase your defense stats or flee from danger. And then the third phase or form was the attack form, in which its speed goes down, and its defense and normal and magical defense slightly go down, but it gets a really big boost in its attack, and its arms get all huge, and it just mashes the opponent in the face or something like that. I don't really know how this is going to work out, because it was a trash monster in my opinion, is the only one I could think of. The last category that I had for the time being was the Gaia category, and that's your counterpart for grass, and it's not all life forms. It's more or less your plants, and I guess I'm gonna take a little part from Digimon here. So you'd be able to. It's focused more on. It's your assistant type. Oh man, it's a type. It's your assistant category monster or whatnot, in which instead of you doing big damage, you'd be focusing on healing the other people and bringing life back to them. So say someone's weak from a battle, you go up to them, have a move that gives them fruit or something, boom, they got a little bit healthier. Now they got more health, now they can still fight some more. Boom. How it's done. But yeah, those are the basic categories. I'm not much involved in the making of MonsterZ, so a lot of it will be theories and ideas. But hey, if some of these theories or ideas actually get added into the game, yippee-doo, I contributed. What? Haha, I did something. But yeah, so I will be on the lookout for some monster ideas in the next couple weeks. Not next couple weeks. I will be on the lookout for monster ideas and concepts in the next couple of days, and I'll go over. I'll do this right. I'll do a minimum of 3 and a maximum of 7 each week, and I'll also have other parts of the podcast that can actually be talked about and things like that, and more ideas. And don't forget to check the description, as we have a new email that you can send your questions or things you want to be talked about in the next podcast episode down in the description. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.